Welcome to On the Line. Today I'm joined by Hot Take Guru, defensive back whisperer, co-host of the Man to Man Pod, and everything DB. He's a former defensive back in the NFL. It is Darius Butler. How we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain at all. How you?
I'm doing good, doing great, doing great. So first thing I gotta ask is kind of a weird question, but do you still get confused for Malcolm Butler?
Nah, that only happened really once that I can remember, maybe a couple times, but once in the biggest moment of his life, in that Super Bowl, that interception on the goal line against the Seahawks, and I had been a former Patriot, and so obviously Butler and Patriot cornerback, so people probably. Oh, Butler, Darius Butler, and I had a lot of fun with that one, but nah, that's not something that happens often. And Malcolm's still balling, still making a hell of a career.
Over there in Arizona, still killing
Yep.
it. And so I only got one Patriot. This kind of leads to my only Patriot question I got, and that's what's the one thing like us who have never been with Bill Belichick? Like, what's the one thing about him that like we would never know about him unless you played under him?
I mean, you can kind of see his dry sense of humor. He lets it out a little more, but he's hilarious, man. He is hilarious. He is obviously about business and business first. And when you walk into that building, you understand that. But you know that he cares, and you also know his attention to detail is crazy. But his sense of humor is one thing that I think would definitely catch people off guard who haven't been in that building.
Next I got for you, your first love growing up was basketball, and you didn't
Hmm.
play football until you were a junior in high school. At what point did you realize that football was your future and basketball wasn't?
Well, okay, so I didn't play organized football. I
Well,
played a year of
yeah.
little league, but then organized football my junior year in high school. And but before that, I used to play on the street, used to play in the different neighborhoods and things like that. So I was always good at an athletic. But basketball was just, it was a sport where you're young, and I moved a lot as a kid, so I could step on any court in any neighborhood, and hey, you give me the ball, and you can tell like, okay, he's a guy. So I enjoyed basketball, I enjoyed competing, I enjoyed making my teams better, all those different things that come with basketball. But my going into my senior year in high school, my coach at the time, Otis Mounds, he was like, hey. You're about 5'9" right now. And it's not too many guys out there in the NBA 5'9", but it's a bunch of guys in college right now going to school for free and playing in the NFL on Sundays that play, corner or receiver at 5'9", 5'10". So he was like, hey, you might need to put a little more eggs in this basket. So I was pursuing it. I always had fun and competed to the highest level, whichever sport I played. But obviously, I got more interest on the football side than on the basketball side. But I did have a couple offers basketball.
Where? D1, D2?
Yeah, I had D1 fam offer. I think Fordham, was it Fordham or Iona?
Okay.
Yeah. I had some programs.
Nothing like though playing football for UConn. Like I don't know, for some people watching this who don't realize there was a golden era of UConn football when it was like you, Orlowski, Donald Brown, like a Colts factory of just really good players and really good teams. And like, how did you end up in UConn from South Florida?
Yeah, well, goes back to my high school coach again, and that's how a lot of these things work. It's relationships behind the scenes, and especially this was before social media, and you couldn't just have a huddle and everybody sees your highlights. So I went to a small school, a charter school, down here in Florida, and and I didn't play my sophomore or my freshman year, so I wasn't really on anybody's radar. And my high school coach Otis Miles, again, he grew up with Terry Richardson, who was the running backs coach at UConn. And he kind of told him like, "Hey, I got a guy at my school, and my school was brand new. This was like the third year in existence for my football program." And he told me about him. He came out, watched me practice, and I went and played in like our Broward Dade All Star game, and they offered me pretty early on, and then towards the end of the process, some other schools came in the picture, but I stuck with UConn, and when I went on my recruiting visit, I clicked with a lot of guys that were on that visit. I actually met my best friend to this day, Tavon Branch, who played in the NFL for 10 years. But we clicked on that visit, and a lot of us decided when we were on that visit to commit and go up there. And you went there and made some things happen. Dan Orlowski had already kind of put us on the map. Dan Orlowski in his class, And then when we got there, we were kind of transitioning into the Big East. And so I knew it was a school that I can still play, top tier talent. So I said, you know what, let's do it.
And then speaking of top tier talent, you got to play Calvin Johnson a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, was it kind of like, were you guys kind of happy that they were still running like the triple threat, the triple option? So like it wasn't like a pass
Oh
heavy
no,
offense.
this was no triple option when Calvin Johnson was there. This was those were the Demarius days. They had Reggie Ball when Calvin was there. Taylor Bennett, I believe, was another quarterback of his, but they were a pro style offense. They had some good running backs. Tashard Choice, 45. I can't think of his name right now, but Calvin, no, he was getting targets, and it was funny because our true freshman year, I redshirted, and my best friend Tyvon, that was his first start, and
Oh
first play of
fuck.
the game, Calvin Johnson went up top on a 50-yard gain. And then the following year, this was my redshirt freshman. This is probably my third or fourth game, and Randy Edsall comes in front of the team and say, "Hey, D-Buck, we're locking you on 21, all game." So I'm excited about the matchup, excited about the challenge. And first play of our game, he goes 50 yards on me for a touchdown. So it was crazy back to back. But for the rest of that game, I locked up. We had a battle, but it was always a challenge going against Calvin. I played against him a bunch in the NFL as well, and he just went in first ballot Hall of Fame, deservedly so. Amazing, amazing player, and probably even better person off the field.
Yeah, he's the man. That shows kind of like when you played college football, I only paid attention to Big Ten, but like I thought Georgia Tech was always, I thought they were like notorious for their triple option, but it kind of shows
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
that was
was
right
lied to
after.
by the internet, but you can't
Yep,
trust everything you learn on the internet.
for
And
sure.
so, as we said, you were played for the Patriots, played for UConn, and those are kind of like not strict programs, but they're like, it was very coach like dictatorship kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What was the biggest culture shock for you when you then went to go play for Riverboat Ron and Chuck Pagano?
Uh, it was just different. Things were more relaxed, and with Ron Rivera, it was his first time as a head coach. Um, we had a rookie quarterback, so I was going from Tom Brady at the quarterback position, and Bill Belichick at the head coach position to Riverboat Ron and Cam. So it was definitely a different dynamic. And different organizations just go about their business. In their own way, in their own unique ways. And so I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't say a culture shock, but coming from UConn, like you said, the programs were similar. Randy Edsall, he came up under Tom Coughlin. So, he was a pretty, strict, by the lines type of coach. And then, going to New England, obviously it's going to be same, and Carolina was different. Indianapolis was different as well. They had their own culture, but a winning culture, a long tradition of winning and a certain standard. But it was definitely, I wouldn't necessarily say culture shock, but it was definitely, it's different cultures in every building in NFL.
And so one of your claim to fames is that you have two sixes off of a Super Bowl winning quarterback. What was it like to house two interceptions from Blaine Gabbert?
Did I get it two off Blaine? Jacksonville was always fun to play. It's always, in the NFL, you want to play good against everybody, but you definitely want to ball against your divisional opponents. And not only were they my divisional opponent, my family was always in the stands when I played Jacksonville because it was either here, which was close to home for me in South Florida, or and a lot of times they came up there. But usually when I got them a pick six, I think they were both. I actually looked over them. I never had a pick six at home. They've all been on the road. Two in Jacksonville, one in Houston, and then where's the other one? And then one in Kansas City. So I never had one at home. But yeah, it
Who
was
was the
great picking
KC
off.
quarterback? Who was the KC quarterback?
Casey's quarterback. I just did this trivia on Good Morning Football. Brady Quinn.
It was Brady Quinn?
Brady
Man.
Quinn. I think he was there for a year, maybe two. And yep, got him.
Gold
First
standard of
drive of the game.
quarterbacks. Gold
Oh
standard
yeah.
of quarterbacks in the AFC South, man. What can I say?
Oh hey, you gotta get him.
And so the other kind of question I had is, I know you had like a pick six, but you pulled your hammy. Who was that against, and when was it?
That was Trevor Simeon, and that was probably, it was against the Broncos in Denver, so it would have been another one on the road.
Oh,
And that was another one of those games that, especially when Peyton went there, was a rivalry type game. We were very familiar with each other. Seemed like we played each other every year. And that was a play that I read. I saw it on film, and then I just saw it kind of playing out slow motion. I was supposed to have a blitz and like the B gap, and once I saw Emmanuel Sanders come over in motion, I just completely aborted the play and went and made it. That was probably my favorite interception of any interception that I had in my life. And then when I was going to take it back to the house, pulled a hammy, man, because a
Oh
couple
my
couple weeks
god.
previous I had a high ankle sprain that I was returning back off of, and I came back early, and some other things weren't quite right. So, man, that one hurts.
That's a heartbreaker. And you kind of
Oh yeah,
talked about it too with Peyton and the Broncos becoming your guys' rival. And before I wanted to get into that AFC Championship game in 2014, the game before, like you guys beat the Broncos. Do you
yeah.
think beating the Broncos before you guys go into New England to play them, do you think you kind of almost, this is my dumb brain thinking, is like you guys were almost like satisfied with the season by beating Peyton in Denver?
No, well, that. Yep, that I would have to agree. That's your dumb brain thinking because once you get, you got and Brady had beat us a couple times already. That team, Luck and Reggie and all of us. So he had already beat us a couple times. So yeah, we obviously wanted that win. It was a huge victory in Denver, beating Peyton. I think that was probably the second time we had beat Peyton. I think we beat Peyton
Because
when
you
he was
beat him in
returned.
his
Yeah,
homecoming.
we beat him in
Yeah.
his homecoming. And then we beat them in the playoffs that year. But yeah, I mean, we wanted that bad, and the game wasn't out of hand in the first half, and then the second half they got rolling, and created some turnovers, and then start doing what New England does. So we definitely wanted that though, and I don't think we were high or relaxed or anything like that. They just whooped our ass.
Hey, I acknowledge when I have a dumb brain take, so like I'll happily admit it.
we
So
are
one
we are
question,
we all have it time to time.
so one question I gotta ask is something I think Pat might have covered it, you might have covered it. Is like I do want to ask about Deflategate. Was there a point where you guys were like, guys, just shut up? Like it happened, we lost. There's nothing we can do. Or like, what was your guys' thought process on the team?
Um, it, we knew I knew it wasn't because of the ball or whatever it was. They just outplayed us. They out executed us, they out schemed us. But I did have some fun with that on Twitter too. I actually got to find that tweet because I was like, hey, so are we running this game back or what? Like we get another shot at this thing. So definitely, if it was any caveats that we could get a redo or a forfeit or something like that, we would have took it. But as a player, as a competitor, you go out there and you just get beat, and that's what happened against that team. And they had our number for the entire time I was there, like they do most teams. But they beat us. They were the better team, and I think did they go to Super Bowl that year?
Well, yeah, that was the
Am
AFC
I?
Championship, so they had to go to the Super
Well,
Bowl.
yeah, yeah. That's my dumb brain thinking.
There we go. You give one, you take one.
Yep.
I don't know if they won though. I could not tell you. I assume they do. Just
No,
Brady
I
probably
don't
winning
think they
another.
won that year.
Was it?
It might have been.
Nah,
No, that wasn't the Eagles' year. I don't know.
no, that was
What's
the
that?
Eagles' year. No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, because
that
Carson wasn't
was
drafted yet. No,
17.
no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, yep, yep. All right. So here's kind of a weird question. So like you've been kind of like a media mercenary. You go to all these different companies and such. Who's
Hmm.
like the media personality that you've talked to that's actually really cool that most people would think is kind of like a dweeb?
Well, I don't know who you guys would think is a dweeb, because who I think is a dweeb would probably be different. Man, I mean, most of these guys are cool, man. Greeny and ESPN. Most people I know he's been on radio for a long time, and people usually are pretty opinionated about radio personalities, especially. But Greeny, I did some in studio stuff with him. He's super cool. I mean, honestly, most of these guys are cool. If I, especially if you see me on their show over and over again, like Jim Rome or Kyle Hurd, like I respect those guys, and I love what they do, and even off camera, they're cool guys and they look out. So I have nothing to say about. I wouldn't say any of them are dweebs.
All right, all right. I
Yeah,
like the answer.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
like
don't
the
have one
answer.
for you.
I was gonna say Jim Rome is one of those guys I completely forgot existed. I'm not gonna lie, I
Uh,
completely forgot he existed
yeah,
because he
Jim
went to
Rome's a legend.
CBS. Yeah, dude, he's the man. I like
Yeah.
he has some pretty funny clips from his interactions with people.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, been there for a
this is
long
a part
time.
where I ask some pretty dumb questions, not dumb questions, but like really simple questions that I think anyone could come up with if they did minimal research. So, first one is, what's your favorite Chuck Pagano story?
Man, I don't know, man. That's a good one. Got a lot of me and Chuck were together for what, 6 years. Favorite story, man. Probably him coming back. Him coming back from his bout with cancer. When he made it back to the sidelines, and even during when he was fighting, he would show up in the locker room from time to time. So those moments were incredible. Let me think of an exact moment. I honestly can't think of one. I'm so bad with this being put
Oh,
on the
you're all
spot.
good, man.
Yeah, I can't think of a. I
We'll
can't
move
think
on
of
to
a
the
good.
next one. If you think of it, let me know.
Yeah,
We'll
all
we'll
right.
say answer. Yeah. Let's do that. So, what happened to UConn football?
Man, like you said, you spoke of the golden years, the golden era, and like I said earlier, Orlowski had kind of brought us to a different level in Division One level, Big East, things like that. You want to get that first and redo it?
It's so far away, and it's a broken call. I'm just gonna kill my audio while you're, because it was actually perfectly timed because you're answering the question. Well, now at this point, it's kind of funny, so I'll leave it in blank.
All right, let it rock
Anyway,
then. Yeah,
let it
so
rock.
yeah,
Golden era.
we had the golden era of golden era UConn football, and I went there in 2004, and they were coming off obviously known as basketball still school, women's basketball, men's basketball. They had just come off championships, and we got there, and it was just kind of a standard that had already been set with Randy Essel, with strength coach Jerry Martin, with our defensive coaches Tyler Lando, Hank Hughes. So we felt like we needed to carry that, and the classes that came in, those were kind of like the first Division I type classes for UConn. And we had a strong pipeline from Florida, from Georgia, from Pennsylvania. So a lot of good football states. And we just came in there and pushed each other, man. Jersey, you had Donald Brown and Cody Brown, Will Beatty, Tavon Branch. Like we had Larry Taylor, like just guys up and down that roster. We really pushed each other. And then year maybe two after I left in '08 and '09, they went to the Fiesta Bowl, and then I believe we lost to Oklahoma, and then after that, Oklahoma or no, I can't even remember. But anyway, we lost in the Fiesta Bowl, and then Randy Essel left and went to Maryland. And I think
Yeah.
when Randy left, that really hurt the program because he had a pipeline. His coaches had a pipeline. That's the way I got up there from South Florida, was that coaching. Terry Richardson, he got a lot of guys up there. So I think when he left and went to Maryland, it definitely set the program back. And honestly, we haven't really been the same since. But we need to start getting those recruits back. We need to get in a conference of some sort, I believe. And guys just got to start pushing each other again. And that strength and conditioning coach, that's a very, very, very critical spot. Rest in peace to Jerry Martin. That was our strength coach, and he set the standard that was never to be messed with. From every player, from the top of the roster to the bottom. So once we get those things fixed, we'll have a chance to start competing and start recruiting at that level again, because our facilities are top notch. We got good coaches, we got a good stadium. So we just got to got to put it all together again.
I'm gonna say too. Then, yeah, you need to get into a conference now, especially with all the realignment going on. Like, I'm an IU fan, so like I'm from Indiana and all that.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
we
just
beat
like,
IU when I was there. That was
yeah, I know you
actually that
did.
was
Yeah,
actually I went on a visit to IU.
really.
Yeah, I went on a visit. I think that was the first time I saw snow.
I would
Like,
never. Oh, really?
yeah.
That was one of my favorite things when I was there. It's like people from Florida or from the South, like, holy shit, I've never seen snow before. But
What year? What
shit's
years were you
crazy.
there?
I just graduated like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I was
okay, okay.
Yeah. I'm not that old, but I take that as a pride. Do you think I was there that long?
No,
That
I
long
just, I
ago?
just, I just wanted to know, were
No,
you
no,
there when you
no.
guys were good or not?
Oh no, I was there when Tom Allen got hired, and like we were all pretty hype about that.
Okay.
So
They're
yeah, and
doing some
I
good
don't.
things over there. They got a hell of a defense. I was watching their
Oh,
defense against Justin Fields this year coming out, and that's a well coached defense. Got some good
my
players over
favorite
there.
thing going into the draft was everyone's like, Justin Fields isn't that good because IU was so just made him look awful. It's like, no,
Yeah,
it's because IU's defense is just good now. Tom
very
Allen's just a
good.
good coach. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He was
So
coaching his ass off.
I gotta enjoy it while we have it because I don't expect it to last very long. Just because we've never been good.
Who
So
knows? You guys could be the best team in the Big Ten in a couple years once everybody starts trying to get in the SEC.
Not true. Could. I'll take it. It might be a Mickey Mouse title, but
Mickey
I'll take it.
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. So here's another question I got. I know you're big into investments and stuff. What's the worst investment you've ever made?
Oh, that's a good one. Shit, probably hmm, that's a good one. Now I know I have an answer for this one.
I'll
Worst
tell you
in
mine. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
let me
mine
hear let me hear
first.
yours first. Don't
I
say
bought into
Dogecoin, please.
no. Well, it's
Oh.
similar. I bought into GameStop and AMC like right when they were like right before they got to their highs, and they
You
got
bought
up
at the
to like
top.
super high, and then they went up like $100 for GameStop, and then AMC went up like a couple, and then it just tanked, and I
Yeah.
lost so much money.
Yeah, it's scary buying at the top. But that's when
Yo,
emotionally a lot of people jump in, especially
yeah.
more inexperienced investors. But my worst investment, man, I put together a con. Me and my friend were talking about this actually the other day. We put together a concert. You know, we put a bunch of headlining artists together, and we lost a bunch of money in that. It just we had too many names that we had to pay, and then the money didn't add up at the end. That was a bad investment. Um, Man, what else? Concerts are tough. Yeah, and that was that was over. That was probably a decade ago now. But so I'll stick with that. A concert, big con. We in Rochester, New York. That was probably a mistake too. Messing with upstate.
All right. Are you aware of Pastor Don Darius Butler?
No clue.
Okay, because he
No
takes a
clue who that
lot
guy
of
is.
your SEO on YouTube. When I was doing my research, he was
Oh,
all over the place. So
really?
there
Okay, I
might be
gotta see
might
what.
be some beef. Might be some
See a
beef.
good pastor?
I didn't watch.
Gotta
uh,
check him out, man.
he
Shoot,
has your name. Shit, yeah. How
man.
jacked was LaRon Landry?
He was jacked.
Dude, he was
He was jacked. I've seen LeBron at 254 and at safety, but yeah, he was yoked
dude,
for sure.
he was a big boy.
Yeah, he
What?
worked it every day.
Yeah, he was. What's the weirdest cameo request you've ever gotten?
Um, I, I honestly I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't gotten any super real ones.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
just
That's
just good
happening now.
ones, just good ones. Motivational. Somebody's before a first game or coming off of surgery or got a promotion at work. I actually enjoy the cameo thing, man. I haven't been doing too many of them, but I enjoy the ones that I do get.
That's good. That's good.
I think it's a cool platform.
It is a really cool platform, especially for like that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
there's some weird stuff on there.
shit, I
There's
bet.
some weird people. Who's the fan base you piss off the most by accident and you don't realize it?
Usually I piss off fan bases on purpose.
Okay,
The
then who's your
Titans,
favorite? The
the
Titans.
Titans are probably
Yeah.
my favorite fan base to piss off. Obviously, I was a division rival for 6 years. If I ever say anything bad about the Patriots during the season, I get a lot of those responses to, "Oh, that's why we cut your ass," and this, that, and the third.
You are meant to be a
But
Patriot.
but
You're
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
it.
So you got your cover. But I mean, that's a part of sports, and I was one of those players that I enjoyed playing on the road more than I did at home. So that's a part of the game. The fan interaction, good and bad.
Okay, okay. Well, who's your favorite fan base then outside of Indianapolis?
Man, favorite fan base. It's got to be between the Raiders and the Steelers.
Okay.
I think those are two very passionate fan bases. Obviously, the Steelers, they've lived through a bunch of championships and winning seasons, things like that. And the Raiders, have a great history, and but they've been struggling as of late, to catch some traction and get some playoff wins. So, but they're still as passionate as ever. Playing in the black hole was something that I felt like was like one of those wild moments as a player. Been in that environment. I tell you, my best friend Tavon Branch, that's who he got drafted by, was the Raiders, and so got a little closer with the fan base that way. So I would say the Raiders and the Steelers, probably my two outside of the Colts, probably my two favorite fan bases.
Well, I can't wait for the Raiders to go 6-2 again this year, and then just fall apart like they do every year. All right. Last dumb question before we get a little NFL talk is: do you have a burner account?
Nah.
No?
If you
Okay.
follow me, on Twitter or anything like that, you know I don't need a burner account.
Okay. All right. All right. That's this question I just got to ask. All right. So
Nah, I
let's
don't
do
mind jumping out there.
little NFL talk. Just kind of go over some basic stuff. As I said earlier, you're a hot take guy. I don't know, but I don't know if you've able to figure this
I don't
out.
know if
I'm
I
a
wouldn't
hot
say
take
I'm a
guy.
hot.
I'm proud of
I
my
wouldn't
hot
say I'm a
takes.
hot take guy.
I'm a hot take guy.
I just see shit before other people do.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we
That's
and you are
all.
in the same boat on one thing. Then I've been told it's a hot take for a long time. But before we get into that, who is your like dark? Who's like what's your hottest take then for this upcoming season? Something you see at the moment that no one else is seeing right now.
I think Brian Burns out in Carolina he'll be in a defensive player of the year conversation. Love him as a player, as a pass rusher. And I think this is going to be a year that we see a huge leap. They've obviously made a bunch of investments on that on the defensive side the last couple of years since Rule's been there. So we will hopefully see it pay off a little bit more this year. On the offensive side of the ball, I think Cam Newton is going to have a great year this year. Obviously, we got the mix-up that he's dealing with now. The misunderstanding out there in New
Misunderstanding.
England.
Oh my god.
But his last game, his second preseason game, he looked great. I knew he'll be more healthy coming into this season, another year, another full off season under Josh McDaniels. So I think he'll have and then you go and draft Mac Jones in the first round, so he feels that pressure behind him with him being on a 1-year deal. And it's definitely some bias there because I know him. Cam's my guy, it's my dog. So but I think he's gonna have an outstanding year. I got him at plus 6,000 in the MVP race. So yeah, I'm high on Cam. I'm bullish on Cam this year.
Okay, I respect that. I actually took Jameis Winston to win MVP last night. I was
Okay, what were the odds?
It was plus 5,000. So
He probably got a lot of people to jump on those odds last
yeah,
night.
he looked good as hell. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I was gonna take it no matter what. I was just really, really nervous about how Taysom Hill was gonna play because I feel like if he shows any signs of being good, he's gonna start. But last night he looked like shit, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
confident in Jameis Winston for MVP. Defensive, I don't know. I didn't really. I would say maybe. I don't know. I don't have one for that. I'll take yours then. I'll just be Brian
Okay.
Burns. I'll take yours. All right. So who's the team we should expect to regress then this year?
Ooh. Man, see, I hate being negative with teams going into seasons.
It's hard to though too because you're in the preseason.
Yeah, you're in the preseason. This is the point where everybody has extreme optimism about their team.
Yeah,
You got Sam Darnold. He's in Carolina. Will he be good? You got Carson Wentz. Will he be good?
he will be.
Who will regress this season?
Because every year there's a couple teams.
I did call the Rams regressing the season that they did after the Super Bowl run, and the Sanford and the Niners. But I gotta say the Bears. As long as they keep Andy Dalton as a starter, I don't think they'll do good. And you're just gonna set Justin Fields is eventually going to be the starter this year, I think. And I don't think you want him, in a 1-2 or an 0-3 type hole that he has even more pressure as a rookie to kind of fight his way out of. So I'll say if I had to pick a team, I say the Bears, just because I'm not on board with that decision to start Andy this season.
I don't think you're on board with this like theory either. That I think a lot of people are saying they're going to start Andy Dalton because they literally promised him in free agency, like you're going to start. And I think that's the only reason he's going to start is because, like, I guess free agency things in the future. I guess I don't know because they want to keep their promises. And then there's also the theory of they just don't want Aaron Donald to kill Justin Fields, which I think is kind of dumb. You throw him into the wolves.
I hate hearing that. Like, they were talking about that last night when Jacksonville New Orleans game. Like, oh, do you put Trevor Lawrence out there with an O line like this and that? Man, yes. Like it's football. Like. It's football. You got to get out there and play, figure it out. You get hit and get your ass back up. But I think Justin Fields will be fine. If they promised him in free agency, that's not a good enough reason.
Because if you
Matt
suck,
Nagy,
you got to get benched. Like that's
Matt
the business.
Nagy and Ryan Pace should be fighting for their jobs this year. And if I'm them, I'm trying to win every ball game possible because you're not in a position to. You're not like the guys in San Fran who are locked up for another 4 or 5 years who can say, hey, let's throw Trey Lance in there and this is our guy we're going to have for the future. You got to be all in on this year, and I think Justin Fields gives those guys the best opportunity out there.
I'll give mine just real quick. I think it's going to be the Dolphins. It's not because I don't believe in Tua. I love Tua, but I also think there's kind of what happened last year with Fitzpatrick. I'm worried they're going to kill Tua's confidence by like if he has like a bad quarter, they might yank him. That's something I'm a little nervous about going into the season. I think that might
You think they'll
hurt.
yank him for Jacoby?
I think
Brissett's been having a good
yeah, that's
preseason
that's
too.
that's why I think it's not against them, but I think they're by not having an identity at quarterback. I think halfway through the season there's gonna
Okay,
be no identity. That's my take.
I'm
I like
high on
both of
Tua.
them. I like Tua a
Yeah,
lot. I love Tua. I'm worried
I'm
about
high
the
on
win
Tua.
now mode kind of thing that we saw last year and not letting him
Mm-hmm.
develop. But it's like you have the defense where you can afford it. You can afford a couple mistakes. But again, we'll see. That's kind of my take. That's my pick. That's the only thing I kind of see happening.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a team that you think will win, like come out of nowhere, be awesome this year? Like just completely, no one's talking about.
I mean, everybody's talking about. I think the Chargers will be much better this year. They lost a lot of close games last year.
They also get Derwin James
Herbert.
back.
Yeah, Derwin
Yeah,
James. Hopefully, we can get him back healthy for a full season. I like Asante Samuel Jr. a
mm-hmm,
lot.
mm-hmm.
Obviously Bosa. Bosa was banged up last year as well. So, I mean, they could be really, and obviously you know what they are on offense. And Justin Herbert's going into his second year. Didn't have an off season last year as the starter. So now you're kind of tailoring the offense around him. And so I can see them. Obviously you're in the same division with the Chiefs, but I see at least two teams coming out of that division. I think I'll put them right up there, in second place.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna come with a team I think people have talked about not making it at all, and that's the Giants. I like the Giants. I like their defense. I like Danny Dimes. I think he played well back after the season. There's my dumb brain take. But I like.
I will call it that, but they got Danny Dimes, they got Daniel Jones. I won't even call him Danny Dimes. They got Daniel Jones, some weapons around. They
They
went
got
out, got Galladay in free
Galladay. They got
agency. They
Saquon's
went,
back. Like it's
yep. They drafted
yeah,
they drafted a receiver in the first round.
yeah,
So you got the weapons there.
yeah,
Slayton is a baller.
yeah.
But he just, he went like 3-4 games, I think, in a row last year. Didn't even throw a touchdown. He fumbles the ball. He turns the ball over too much.
He's
So
the
I
new
have to see it to
Jameis,
believe it.
in term,
And
but
I'm
not for
not
talent.
excited. Yeah, I'm not excited about Daniel Jones right now. But they did make some moves in free agency. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're in a division that can be taken, especially with Dak not being 100% healthy, and who knows what's going on there.
That was the
But
other
so
thing
yeah,
too. I
they
had
got a chance.
that was the other reasons because the East is the NFC Beast is wide open.
Yep.
So last thing for the NFL preview, I'm a massive Colts fan. Like you're a big Colts guy. Can you give me a realistic expectation for Carson now that he's probably going to start Week 1?
See, this is another one of those hot takes I had. When they this was years ago after they won a Super Bowl, I believe, and I was going back and forth with Orlowski. I'm like, man, I think they should stick with Foles. Blah blah blah. And who knows? Carson could have been better, but so Carson came back. He started stinking, and he played well with a lot of backups. And he came back, and I just saw it kind of deteriorating there without Frank. And I said he was going to stink. Jalen was going to be a starter by mid-season. Like, I called all these things. Everybody called me crazy. I said Carson's going to end up in Indy back with Frank, and he's going to revive his career. So I'm still on that train. I think he's going to have a good year this year and beyond. He had the injury, but he's back on the practice field as of yesterday, doing almost everything, 7-on-7, one-on-ones, the individual drills. So he's getting those reps with his receivers, which I think is very important at this point in the year. And so I think he's going. I think it's going to. I think that's going to be a 12-win team this year if we can keep Carson upright. And I'm excited about him and Frank. I'm excited about the young weapons that they have over there. Zach Pascal, T.Y. is the old head over there at receiver. You got Paris Campbell. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. Michael Pittman Jr. You got weapons over there, man. So what? And then that backfield and the O line. So you got weapons. Obviously got a good defense. So realistic expectations is about a 12-5 season with a playoff berth. We'll see where we go from there.
I like that. I like that answer. So that's really all I got. We've already talked about your pod. We talked about the DB everything DB.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. I keep mixing that up. So with that said, like if you want to promote all that, go ahead, plug all the channels.
Yeah, man, just check it out, man. Right now we're going Monday. We're going live on YouTube, and we got a YouTube page, the Man to Man Pod, with me and Antoine Bethea, 14-year NFL vet. We go live right now Mondays and Thursdays from 11 to 12 Eastern time. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty interactive and engaging with the fans or the listeners that are in the comment section while we're going. Um, we'll probably be doing it more frequently during the season. And then everything DB is something that I do to really dive into the details of defense, coverage, players, who got beat, why, what to do, fundamentals, coaching, all those different things. And a lot of people enjoy it. I got a lot of great feedback from that. So I'll be doing that more once the season starts. And tap in my socials, Darius J Butler on Twitter and Instagram, and I let it fly on there. I have fun with it.
You do have fun on it. You let it fly. It's
Yep.
always love to see it. So, with that said, for me, for DB, we out. Peace.
Appreciate you. Gone.